LC oscillations. In inductors, the energy is stored in the form of magnetic field, while in capacitors it is stored as the electric field. Whenever energy is given to a circuit containing a pure inductor of inductance L and a capacitor of capacitance C, the energy oscillates back and forth between the magnetic field of the inductor and the electric field of the capacitor. Thus, the electrical oscillations of a definite frequency are generated. These oscillations are called LC oscillations. Now look at the circuit consisting of a charged capacitor of capacitance C and an induction coil of self-inductance L. Let a capacitor be charged to Qm at a time t equal to 0 and connected to an inductor as shown in the above figure. The moment the circuit is completed, the charge on the capacitor starts decreasing, giving rise to current in the circuit. Let Q and I be the charge and current in the circuit at a time t. Since di by dt is positive, the induced EMF in L will have polarity as shown in the figure, that is VB is less than VA. That means VB is at a lower potential and VA will be at a higher potential. The potential difference across the capacitor is given by Q by C and the back EMF induced in the self-inductance coil is given by L di by dt. According to Kirchhoff's loop rule, Q by C minus L di by dt must be equal to 0. This is equation 1. Since Q decreases and I increases, the current I is equal to minus of dq by dt, and hence di by dt is equal to minus of d by dt into minus of dq by dt. That is equal to minus of minus will become plus, d by dt of dq by dt will become d square q by dt square. Hence, equation 1 becomes q by c plus L d square q by dt square is equal to 0, or d square q by dt square plus 1 by LC into q is equal to 0. This is equation 2. Equation 2 is a differential equation of simple harmonic motion of the form d square x by dt square plus omega square x is equal to 0. This is equation 3. The charge Q oscillates with a natural frequency given by omega naught is equal to 1 by root LC. Equation 4. The charge Q varies sinusoidally with time according to the equation Q equal to Qm cos omega naught t plus phi. This is equation 5, where Qm is the maximum value of Q and phi is the phase constant. At a time t equal to 0, Q is equal to Qm and cos phi is equal to 1 and hence phi equal to 0. If phi equal to 0 in equation 5, then Q equal to Qm cos omega naught into t. This is equation 6. The current is given by I equal to minus of dq by dt, that is equal to minus of d by dt Qm cos omega naught t. The minus sign indicates that the capacitor is now discharging. Hence I is equal to minus Qm into d by dt of cos omega naught t, that is equal to minus Qm into minus sin omega naught t into omega naught, or I equal to omega naught Qm into sin omega naught t, or I equal to Im sin omega naught t. This is equation 7, where Im is equal to omega naught Qm. Now you look at the diagrammatic representation of LC oscillations taking place in an LC circuit. A capacitor of capacitance C with initial charge Qm is connected to an inductor as shown below. The oscillations in an LC circuit are analogous to the oscillations of a block at the end of a spring. You can look at the comparative diagram of the LC circuit, below which a loaded spring held horizontally is shown. In the class 11, we have studied that when a block of wood is pulled from the free end of a spring and then released, it is compressed and elongated alternately so that it exhibits simple harmonic motion. So the energy oscillates between potential energy and kinetic energy. At the mean position and the extreme position and any intermediate position, the total energy remains constant, but the form of energy may be either potential fully or kinetic fully or partially kinetic and partially potential. In the same way, we are going to explain that in the LC circuit, sometimes the total energy will be electrostatic in nature, that is stored across the plates of the capacitor, and sometimes the total energy will be magnetic in nature and is stored in the induction coil, and sometimes it will be partially electric field and magnetic field. So this is the idea we are going to understand from this diagrammatic representation. Look at the explanation below the diagram. A. At the initial stage, when the switch is opened, the energy stored in the capacitor is maximum. Because it is an open circuit, there is no current flow and the capacitor does not lose the charges, and hence the capacitor has maximum energy. It is stored in the form of electrostatic potential energy UE, and it is given by UE is equal to half Q square M by C. As there is no current in the inductor, the energy stored in the inductor, that is UB, is equal to 0. Thus, the total energy of the LC circuit is U equal to UE plus UB, that is equal to half QM square by C plus 0, and that is equal to half QM square by C. Figure B. At a time t equal to 0, the switch is closed and the capacitor starts to discharge. As the current increases, it sets up a magnetic field in the inductor, and thereby some energy gets stored in the inductor in the form of magnetic energy. It is given by UB is equal to half Li square. In this stage, UE is not equal to 0 and UB is also not equal to 0. Figure C. As the current reaches its maximum value Im at t equal to 1/4 of the period, all the energy is stored in the magnetic field. It is given by UB is equal to half L Im square. Now the capacitor has no charge and hence no energy. Therefore, UE is equal to 0 and UB is equal to half Lim square. Picture D. The magnetic field collapses and the current now starts charging the capacitor, so that some energy will be stored in the capacitor and the remaining energy is stored in the inductor. So here UE is not equal to 0 and UB is also not equal to 0. Picture E. The process continues till the capacitor is fully charged at a time t equal to capital T by 2. But it is charged with a polarity opposite to its initial state in figure A. So here UE is equal to half QM square by C and UB is equal to 0. The whole process just described will now repeat itself till the system reverts to its original state. Thus, the energy in the system oscillates between the capacitor and the inductor. Note, the above discussion of LC oscillations is not realistic for two reasons. 1. Every inductor has some resistance. The effect of this resistance is to introduce a damping effect on the charge and current in the circuit, and the oscillations finally die out. 2. Even if the resistance were 0, the total energy of the system would not remain constant. It is radiated away from the system in the form of electromagnetic waves. In fact, radio and TV transmitters depend on this radiation. Transformer. Transformer is a device used to transform electrical power from one circuit to another without changing its frequency. The applied alternating voltage is either increased or decreased with corresponding decrease or increase of current in the circuit. Principle. The principle of transformer is the mutual induction between two coils. Construction. A transformer consists of two sets of coils insulated from each other. They are wound on a soft iron core, either one on top of the other as shown in figure A, or on separate limbs of the core as shown in figure B. One of the coils, called the primary coil, has NP turns. The other coil is called secondary coil. It has NS turns. Often the primary coil is the input coil and the secondary coil is the output coil of the transformer. When an alternating voltage is applied to the primary, the resulting current produces an alternating magnetic flux which links the secondary and induces an EMF in it. The value of this EMF depends on the number of turns in the secondary. We consider an ideal transformer in which the primary has negligible resistance and all the flux in the core links both primary and secondary windings. Let phi be the flux in each turn in the core at a time t due to current in the primary when a voltage Vp is applied to it. Then the induced EMF or voltage Es in the secondary coil with Ns turns is given by Es equal to minus Ns into d phi by dt, equation 1. The alternating flux phi also induces an EMF called back EMF in the primary. This is given by Ep is equal to minus Np into d phi by dt. This is equation 2. Since the primary resistance is not zero and primary current is not infinite, Ep must be equal to Vp and Es must be equal to Vs. Therefore, Vs is equal to minus Ns into d phi by dt, equation 3, and Vp is equal to minus Np into d phi by dt, equation 4. Dividing equation 3 by equation 4, we get Vs by Vp is equal to Ns by Np. This is equation 5. The above relation has been obtained using three assumptions. Number 1. The primary resistance and current are small. Number 2. The same flux links both the primary and the secondary as very little flux escapes from the core. Number 3. The secondary current is small. For an ideal transformer, since there is no power loss, input power is equal to output power. That is, I primary into V primary is equal to I secondary into V secondary, or I primary by I secondary is equal to V secondary by V primary. This is equation 6. Combining the equations 5 and 6, we get Ip by Is is equal to Vs by Vp is equal to Ns by Np is equal to K, equation 7, where K is a constant known as the voltage transformation ratio. Case 1. If K is greater than 1, Ns will be greater than Np, and hence Vs will be greater than Vp, and Is will be less than Ip. This is the case of step-up transformer in which voltage is increased and the corresponding current is decreased. Case 2. If K is less than 1, Ns will be less than Np and hence Vs will be less than Vp and Is will be greater than Ip. This is the case of step-down transformer in which voltage is decreased and the corresponding current is increased. Efficiency of a transformer. The efficiency eta of a transformer is defined as the ratio of the useful output power to the input power. That is eta equal to output power divided by input power into 100%. So if the ratio of output power by input power is multiplied by 100 means then eta is expressed in percentage. If it is not multiplied by 100 means then eta is expressed in decimals. Note, actual transformers have efficiency ranging from 96% to 99%, but never equal to 100% due to various types of energy losses taking place in it. Energy losses in a transformer. 1. Flux leakage. There is always some flux leakage, that is, not all of the flux due to primary passes through the secondary due to poor design of the core or the air gaps in the core. It can be reduced by winding the primary and secondary coils one over the other. 2. Copper loss. Transformer windings have electrical resistance. When an electric current flows through them, some amount of energy is dissipated due to Joule heating I square R. This energy loss is called copper loss. In high current, low voltage windings, these are minimized by using thick wire. Number 3. Eddy current loss. The alternating magnetic flux induces eddy currents in the iron core and causes heating. This effect is reduced by having a laminated core, example stelloy. Number 4. Hysteresis loss. The magnetization of the core is repeatedly reversed by the alternating magnetic field. The resulting expenditure of energy in the core appears as heat and is kept to a minimum by using a magnetic material which has a low hysteresis loss. Example, mu metal and silicon steel.